but I was only through there. And we talked about the BIA and all the corruption that was there and all the grievances we had. But they wouldn't listen to us. And there was a Chippewa girl with me and a Grovon girl with me. We went from task force to task force, trying to tell them what it was like on the reservation. And none of them never said a word. They said, that's your problem. You white people caused it. You didn't cause us for us. We didn't cause our grievances. You did. But we tried explaining it to you people, but you wouldn't listen to us at that time. And that's been quite a while ago. And I told them about the BIA. It was not doing its job. But you didn't. They didn't even listen to us. So we walked out of that White House conference. And this is what you caused, the people in the White House not listening to the Indians. We have hardships. The tribal government is not doing a damn thing for us. I myself can say it because I never worked under tribal. I never was associated with the tribal government. Because we don't get no help from there. We can beg, but we never get anything. I think it's high time these white people should listen to the Indians. I think the 1868 treaty is the most thing that we grew up listening to. And that it was never carried out. We see our grandfather die talking about the 1868 treaty and about the Black Hills claim. I think this time, I think the white people should listen to the Indians and let them govern themselves. We have our Great Spirit. We have guardians from there.
On the reservation, the Indian people don't have no civil rights whatsoever. That's what Richard Wilson says. If we meet like this, he's going to come in here and say illegal assembly and try to throw us in jail. We can't even come on the reservation or go out. But what he has these police standing there taking a picture of our car, license plate, driver's license. I told them that I even have nightmares over their mugs. But that don't scare them none. They still stop us every time. Another thing that they're doing, they're terrorizing these people on the reservation. Is any one of you from the Civil Rights Department of Washington? Good. Then can you take some complaints back to Washington for us? Because of these police. Like my niece last night, she said they terrorized them. Cutting their fences down, running their stock out, throwing flares. What rights has these government police to throw flares after they said ceasefire? They said ceasefire. They made our American Indian Movement people put down their weapons. Now we don't have no weapons, and they throw flares at us. What rights have they got? Such things as this is going on this reservation. But Richard Wilson says we don't have no civil rights because on when they had that meeting for that impeachment, the civil rights people were in there. In the back room, he had the tribal council, was showing them a movie, telling them the civil rights was a communist organization. I've got an American Indian Handbook on Civil Rights, which says that it was passed by the commission. So I really don't know what to believe now. I don't believe Wilson, that's for darn sure, because I intend to say that I have civil rights. Now, if you can take documents, take them back to Washington, because of civil jurisdiction, they say we don't have no civil rights. They're depriving us of our civil rights. And I asked him if we could take the tribal council to court for depriving us of our civil rights, and he said we can. Is that true?
No, he's wrong on that. That's not true.
It's not?
I mean, it's true. You can take him to court.
Well, I said, no wonder my grandmother always told me, never believe a white man, he speaks with a forked tongue. There's two of you sitting side by side that don't believe each other.
I don't think we understood your point. We
So-
agree.
So we're going to bring some documents to you, and we'd like to have you take that back to Washington. Is my 5 minutes up? Who's timing me?
1 minute.
1 more minute? Okay. Another thing about this tribal council. We've got civil rights that they've been depriving us. All right, now we're going to form all this and try to take them to court. And you say we can. Well, we're going to do it. If that's one way of getting rid of Richard Wilson so that we can rest and sleep in peace, we're going to do it. Thank you.
We don't want them anymore. You're protecting them. The government is protecting them because they're puppets. You're using them. We want our 1868 treaty back, and you can raise them half-breeds on welfare if you want to, but we don't want no more of our appropriations dwindling off into the river in bars, what have you, like they're doing now, and putting us grassroots people in debt. This is what we want to get away from. So we are standing on our 1868 treaty, and we're going to stay there. Otherwise, there will be another wounded knee. I was shot at, but our Great Spirit watches us. So you want to be careful.
Today, I kind of blew my stack a little, but I've done that so many times in the past 90 days or so. It's nothing. But I would like to have you take a message home for these grassroots people of the Oglala tribe and different tribes, 7 tribes of the Teton Sioux. I can't say for all, but I could say for us Oglala Sioux that Mr. Wilson, the very highly upheld Richard Wilson, the tribal chairman of the Oglala Sioux tribe, has called us militants. He has called us misfits. But right here you see all of the Indian people. There is no one dictating to us, telling us what to do and how to run our business. We are doing this on our own mind. Nobody is pushing us into this. We are using our own minds to govern ourselves. We are able to do it because we have never lived off of the BIA. We have never lived off of the tribal funds, which really belongs to us. So, this is what I'd like to tell you. That us misfits, as Richard Wilson calls us, would like to right his wrongs for him. And we are patiently waiting on this Watergate trial, because we are going to have a Watergate here of our own with our little Indian Dick Wilson. Thank you.
And the marshals that go into our Indian homes, take all the beadwork from them, saying that it belongs to Sosiski, which Sosiski's a thief himself. Everybody, all those white people that live in Wounded Knee, that's all they are, is thieves. And when Frizzell was here, when that agreement came, he said they would all be disarmed, just like the Wounded Knee people would, which he lied, because it's still going on. And you can tell Frizzell, I told him to his face he's a liar, and that's what he is. And so is that one guy that was sitting here. I forgot, Ekis or whatever his name is. He's another liar. He was with Frizzell at those negotiations. And I don't think our men from the American Indian movement should have such heavy bonds on them, and I think all our people feel that way. It should be Dick Wilson and them that have those bonds on them and that are in prison, not the American Indian movement men.
Oh.
There are a few things that I'd like to bring up here this afternoon. My name is Hildegard Katz, and I'm with the Interdistrict Council. And I've been here yesterday, and I just got here just before noon, I suppose, about 1 o'clock, I imagine. But I really didn't get in on most of the topics that were discussed this morning. But there is one thing that I'd like to bring up is on the Wounded Knee residents people. Now, I spoke to one of the people who came up and reported to us how the resident people feel. But before I'd like to turn this over, my turn, I'd like to have her say it, in her own words, because it wouldn't do any good with me telling it to you people. I'd rather have her tell it to you herself. And about civil rights, you people have been hearing about Mr. Wilson, how he's been acting here on the reservation, and how our tribal council has been operating. And I don't want to say anything more. I think you've heard enough about it. But there is some things that I wish you people would, I know you have the power to control this, is his deputies or his goon squad. We have been harassed right along ever since this thing happened. And before Wounded Knee, it has been going on. He's deputized these people, and they've been harassing people at the office that go there. They can't do their business. That's why Wounded Knee happened. And Wounded Knee really started from my community. And this is how far it got. And so, something should be done about the goon squads or those deputies, because they are really harassing the people. And we live in fear all the time. And I'm really glad the vacation's over with school where I work at Holy Rosary Mission. Because I received phone calls and messages from his goon squads that they told me that they would get my kids if they got off the bus. They usually get off the bus and go back across the road to the country out where I live. And every day I live in fear, Wondered if they made it across. So I'd like to turn this mic over to Mrs. Rachel Hollowhorn and let her explain what the rest of the people feel about what's happening to them at Wounded Knee. Rachel?
My name is Rachel Hollowhorn, and I'm a Wounded Knee resident, and all I have to say is that if there's any donations of funding coming in the name of the residents, we'd like to have it come direct to the Wounded Knee residents, not to the tribal council or Dickie Wilson, because we'll never see any of it. And about 2 days ago, the residents talked it over at the Episcopal Church, and they took it seriously because they want to, I know, do us residents a lot of good with all those donations and funding coming into us, because we are poor and really need help. And the residents appreciate it, and they wanted to thank all the people that helped us during this consultation. Thank you. That's all I want to say.
Once again, they're still macing our women, pulling their hair, jerking them around. We've made complaints, but there again, we hit that stone. No civil rights. And I wish that you'd do something about this when you get back. I'd like to see every one of our police there fired. We've got one policeman on there, and I don't mind mentioning his name. I told you I'm scared, but I'm brave. There's Blaine Brewer. He's got a father that bootlegs in Pine Ridge. There's Ski Jacobs. He's got a daughter-in-law and son that bootlegs, and every time there's going to be a raid, he lets them know about it. You should see them scurrying around like rats and mice hiding their wine.